All right. All right, just sharing this post. If you guys would like to share this as well, feel free. We're doing Q&A today. Let me just turn this on my phone. For some reason, the one on my computer tends to freeze. Give me a second here, guys. Hey, Miguel, what's up, buddy? Okay, let's see. I have some questions from the last time. Okay, 1 second, guys. All right, if you guys have any questions in the meantime, feel free to start dropping them in the question box. What are you doing, phone?
Hey, dude.
Yo.
Can you give me video access too?
I didn't know you were coming.
I didn't know I was coming either, but here we are.
This is a nice surprise.
I'm full of them. Chock full of them.
Chock full of Colombian surprises?
Well, not yet.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
There we go. Got it.
All right, cool. Welcome, dude.
What up, homie? Homie.
All right, so here we go. We got Miguel, Tori, what's up, guys? Matt, always good to see you. I am not in Colombia yet. I will be there on Saturday, super early morning. Guys getting a 4-day head start on me.
You're missing out.
But to say that we are excited is an understatement.
I'll send some healing your way.
Say it again?
I said you're missing out. I'll send some healing your way.
I'm missing out on what?
I said you're just missing out, but I'll send some healing your way.
Yeah. Okay, let me
I need to share this stuff.
grab some questions. Guys, if you got questions, start dropping them. I'm going to get some questions from the last time. Here have it all questions. You got a question?
The question?
Got an answer.
Got an answer for you.
All right. So I don't know where these are from. It could be last week, the week before. I just have like a running list. So we'll start with these. Sebastian was saying that I want to help someone who doesn't believe that she can be helped, or maybe chooses for some strange reason to stay where she is now with her pain and illness, not opening up. We used to be very close friends, live together now, and I don't know how to explain without interfering and being misunderstood. Can one help, and how? How to share, how to show, how to help? And I'm assuming he's asking, like, how do you help someone that doesn't want to be helped?
Yes.
You want me to answer? You want to go?
No, you take a swing at it, and then I'll go.
Okay. So here's my 2 cents, and this is from many years of coaching people. And I actually learned this lesson personally while coaching someone. Consider that what you have is you have a limited amount of energy per day, okay? And that energy can be used as life force to create goodness and wonderful things in the world, right? What a lot of human beings tend to do is you go after something or someone and you use this life force, and that person is just a no to it, right? So they're very resistant, negative, whatever it is. So my question is this: Would you rather your life force energy, whatever you want to call it, go towards something or someone that is ready to receive it? Or would you rather do that with someone who is resistant and a block to it? Either way, you're using your life force. The issue with using your life force on someone that's not receiving it, right? The world is kind of in this cyclical thing, right? We give energy and then we get energy, and there's a cycle. When you're giving to someone that's just blocking it off, that energy doesn't circulate. It doesn't really come back. And the problem with that is basically that you're just expending this energy that could have caused some amazing goodness somewhere else, and it's not really landing. So what you want to get is that people are at different vibrations. Okay, so say like the normal vibration of a human being, unconscious human being, is say 10,000. And as you go up, like maybe whatever, say like Jesus Christ was 100,000, right? And there's like everything in between. Different people at different vibrational planes respond and react and communicate with other people. And it's difficult to get someone that's at a baseline that's not willing to do that work on their own to jump into these different vibrational states. Guy and I are both fixers. Like for a long time, we loved helping those people in need because we just wanted to, right? We've learned, I think, over time that it's not the best use of your energy when what you're trying to do is impact 100 million people's lives. You want to work with people who are willing to work, right? Trying to convince someone that they need something or should do something or anything like that, personally for me, is a waste of energy. And I think you're better off offering them something simple like a book or a video or something like that. And if they become receptive, then you can start that conversation. But until that happens, my personal thing is just let it go.
Yeah, and look, honestly, all you can really do. So if you get into those type of conversations with people, into that field with people, it's a gray area between helping and fixing, especially coming from like a man's world. In a lot of relationships, most relationships, you'll see, like we're trying to fix something. Is the echo coming from me or from you?
I don't hear an echo.
Oh, okay. So, no, I'm hearing like on the back end. I don't know why I would be hearing it.
I can let me mute myself maybe and
yeah, try that. Let's see. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's a lot better. So everyone's in their perfect place in their perfect journey right now. It is our ego that wants to step in and say that they need or should be somewhere other than where they are. The best thing you could do for somebody, I feel, is to accept where they are, leave judgment at the door, and then hold a space of love for that human being. And it doesn't mean that you can't share with them. So if I see that you're hurting in some area of life, be it in relationships or health or finance or stuff like that, I can empathize, right? And I can say, well, I remember when I was dealing with that in my life. And would you mind if I shared something with you about something that happened to me? And then I share a story with you. And that story transmits the pain that I was in and the spiritual development or whatever development or insights I had, whatever transmissions came through me that allowed for that to be transmuted and to grow from that experience. I think inside that realm, it's a really non-invasive way to share information that can really make a big difference for a lot of people. So if like you have some kind of breakdown with your relationship around your mom, and I share with you an experience that I had with my mom that provides an insight or a pathway for an opening for something else to show up in that space. If I'm talking about my mom, you can't help it. You're thinking about your mom, right? You're like immediately transmitting, like you're looking at it through your own personal experience. It's been a long time since Eli and I try to force anything down somebody's throat. So like in full disclosure, like when I first found Landmark, I was sure that was the answer for everybody. Like, and that work provides value for anybody who's open to doing that work. I just thought I felt like the answer. And I used to speak about it like it was the answer and be very forceful in my approach and because really it was coming from great intention, right? Like I wanted to help everybody. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. So these days, it's still work that I refer people to. Even our own clients still do that work, but it's never forced on anybody. I've just always found provide people with options, show them where they can see things for themselves. And then at some point in their life, something happens where they feel like they can't overcome something, or they've hit a wall, or finally are just open to growing. And they come and ask you, like, oh, what's that thing you told me about a while ago? And then there's that opening for really making a difference for somebody. I'm extremely intentional about asking for permission today to go in there with people versus otherwise it's just ego opinion, right? And then it's like Elon said, we have like superhero complexes, again, great intention. And a lot of times it can make people feel small, or that they're broken, or that they need fixing, and then they actually revert and they don't get the assistance that they really need.
All right. Hopefully that thing went away. Yeah, I agree. I mean, my mom just told me a story. There's a group of friends that were I mean, they've been friends with them for 20 plus years, a long, long time. And they've always been super resistant to anything in the personal development space. Very logic brain people, very systematic in their approach, all that kind of stuff. And just been very, very no to this stuff. And as they got older, and their kids were starting to go through some stuff, my parents would share certain things. And then recently, my mom turned them onto a book that we turned her onto, and she just shared it with them, and they loved it. And now they're like constantly go back to her for more books and more things, and are now like out there looking for a coach. So you just never know. One of the things I will tell you is no is not personal, ever. People's no's are not personal. I want you to hear it as no for now. That's it. It's not a final no forever, and don't make it mean anything. Or don't give any effort or things like that. I just don't think that it's outcome. It's far better to share something like a book or something with them and go with that.
Yeah, and a lot of times, like, the source will make all the difference in the world, right? Like, you can say the perfect thing to the perfect person, and you're just not the right source for them. They don't have the listening for you. I used to be surprisingly, I used to be really resistant to coaching. I was very particular about who can give me information. Elon was not a person that used to be able to give me information. It would come across to me like criticism all the time. And that was just me working through my own shit. However, I've had friends like Ben comes to mind, who could tell me the worst thing about me, like a fucking shovel hitting you in the face. And I'd be like, thank you, Benny. Thank you so much. Just thank you for the massive insight. Thank you for what you're doing to me and stuff like that. And over the years, I've opened up to a lot of people in that respect, where today I have like an army around me of people who can give me that level of feedback and that I can appreciate it and like just take it. It was just a lot of my own identity stuff that was fighting for footholds and the threat that would cause. And you could get like around your older brother, right? And your family, for sure. You have so much shit there about them and all the stories and how they operate and what they're trying to do, and every word, the meaning of it and the nuances and how it's being shared, and like all of that stuff that's there. All that stuff that's just there. And you can work through all that stuff. Like, you really can transmute and let go. And at the end of the day, it's just surrender. And I don't mean like a conceptual surrender. I mean like vibrate to surrender. Like Marcy and I just made an hour-long video too right before this. Guys, there's nothing for you to do at all. Not important. Not important. It's surrender. It's working your way into the world of being. You're a human being. You're not a human doing. Get that? And just run experiments. Like you want to create something in your life instead of like, what do I need to do to this person? How am I going to be for this person? What kind of space am I going to hold for this person? I'm going to go to bed and pray and create tonight for this person. I'm going to look at what they're dealing with. I'm going to put that in my body and I'm going to transmute that within me to transmute that for them. That level of consciousness. If we're talking about the oneness, being one with one another, it doesn't matter what you see inside of your experience. If it occurs as negativity to you, like there's a car accident in front of you, if it's in your experience, you helped create that situation. So if your friend is going through something around you, you helped create that situation too. That's inside of your experience. You can transmute that. It's not a political statement. Everything you guys see about Trump that upsets you is stuff you have yet to bring love and light to in your life. Otherwise, it wouldn't affect you. You wouldn't even notice it. That's what he's here for, in my opinion. It's to give you an example of everything that you got to go to work on. Everything you hate about him is everything you don't like about yourself. And if you would open up to that, the rapid ascension and upgrades in software that happen inside of you and the magic that would enter your life would put you in awe, and you would literally be grateful for the presence of this man. And instead of being at odds and at war with him and all the things that people are doing, because they think that they're actually a skin puppet in third density reality, instead of looking up and realizing they're coming from down there. And this is just a manifestation of energy of that oversoul. So I know we're getting a little ethereal, but from my experience, that's what's going down. Bro, you there? Broski? I see you moving. Guess you can hear me. Elon? Okay, hopefully you guys can hear me. I don't know who's on that's bad on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now.
Okay. I don't know what's happening. My internet just keeps
Popping in
putting in and out. All right. Hopefully this will work. Okay. So that was that question.
Cool.
Where's my questions? Guys, if you have questions, please drop them in.
Drop them in.
I'd love to get some new ones in here. All right. Mary Hamilton asked if we can share our biggest takeaway from the book Mastery. Stephen, the book that my mom read was a book called Code of the Extraordinary Mind. It's a great book. Robert Greene's Mastery is also amazing. So I could just share with you my biggest thing. I recommend this book to anyone who is starting their entrepreneurial journey. The reason I love this book to share with people who are starting their entrepreneurial journey or early on in their entrepreneurial journey or wherever in their entrepreneurial journey is it gives you a really good understanding of what it actually takes to be successful in life in anything that you do. The book basically goes and does studies on the best of the best of the best in different areas. People like Mozart, people like Darwin. What was the boxer's name? The trainer? I don't remember his name. Like one of the most famous boxing trainers.
Yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head either.
Amazing musicians, things like that. And it puts, I don't know if it puts is the right word. It kind of kills the notion that these people were born with some sort of talent. Because a lot of times we look at these people who are exceptionally good at something as if they were born with some talent that we don't have. And when you do that, you've basically said they can do this thing, I can't do this thing. They're somehow better than me or came more prepared than me. I'm not. And what this book does is it entails what the journey looks like to mastery. And back in the day, the world was all about apprenticeships. You had to bust your ass and kiss a whole bunch of ass and know the right people so that you can get in with certain people to be their apprentice. And you didn't get paid. And these apprenticeships were 7 years, 8 years, 9 years long, with the hopes that you would eventually be able to take over this position and build a career out of it. And I think what's happened in today's society, in today's world, is the fact that we are all expecting immediate results. We want to put very little effort and get incredible results, because what we see online and what we see in media, we assume that that's the way the world is. We look at people like Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg and all these guys. You know, Bill Gates locked himself up in a room for 10 years and wrote code. So it's not that he's more gifted than anybody else. It's just that he had a 10-year advantage over everybody else. That's it. And so the reason I absolutely love that book, and I think the stories are just fascinating to learn about these people. Robert Greene does incredible research. All his books, by the way, are fantastic. So that to me was the biggest takeaway, is like what it takes to be a master. If that journey doesn't excite you, and by the way, mastery of your mind, mastery as a journey into personal development, what we are talking about, what Satori Prime offers through our coaching programs, is the same process. It's a process, right? We give you the tools, we give you the technology, we give you all of these things that work incredibly well, and you still have to go to the gym and lift those weights. Elon and Guy don't bop you on the head with some magic wand and you're like, oh my God, my life is perfect. No, au contraire, mon ami. You still got to do the work. Broski, anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, and I'll just add, just from my own evolution currently, even the understanding the mind games, like I think it's prudent to go and master language and understand its impact on you. I think it's prudent to understand the biology and also the phenomenology of what it means to be human. And for where I am now, I now see the limitation of purely cognitive and language-based sciences. And as helpful as they are in producing, they are, and Elon can attest to this too, we're moving into a beingness where we're like manifestation, like true manifestation creation processes that has a lot more to do with the subconscious, which is actually not in here. It's actually here, which is the vibrational frequency of your body and how to create alignment with that. The reason we go and sit in the jungle and go drink all these, these sacred ceremonial plants is because they carry the wisdom and experiences that crack you wide open to feeling these things, which is like attaining different levels of balance, right? And now I'm seeing the limitations of the mind. So like with everything, right? It's both your greatest asset and your greatest limitation. And I think if you haven't been able to produce results in your life, a lot of it is just your inability to act. But act is all in the world of doing, and I'm concerning myself less and less with that. My concern these days is finding ways to provide fertile soil for people like you guys that come and watch us and listen to us, to actually take you out of the world of doing as quickly as possible and stick you right into the world of being and just start being a true manifester. So somebody asked over here, like, when I have all this stuff to do, how do I stop that? Elon and I have stuff to do also. Lots and lots of stuff, and we're still. I'm not telling you I'm relieved myself of the world of doing. We live in third density reality. Like I need to get out of bed in the morning and do something, right? And when I'm creating what I want in my life, I'm no longer generating a plan through doing. I'm opening myself up to receiving and allowing for God, universe, angels, extraterrestrials, all of these energies, and however it is that you define that for yourself, to basically bring me what I can imagine or better into my experience without me defining what that experience is supposed to look like. Because the moment you define it, and that's what doing does, it defines how you're going to get to a goal. You're narrowing the way that it can come to you. So it's like saying, I want to receive all this light, but I only want to receive it through a pinhole-sized thing that looks exactly like that. And if it doesn't come through this pinhole, then I don't want it. That's what the world of doing is. Where the world of being is full, infinite expansion. Just bring it to me, however it arises. And it takes a level of trust and surrender, I think, to go there. Again, partly why medicine journeys are so powerful, because it brings those things into your vibrational experience. I had no relationship with what God meant prior to doing these experiences, like zero. In fact, I was at odds and war with whatever that was or whatever I thought that it was. Today could not be more on the opposite side of that spectrum. Before, if I said the word God, I actually cringed in my body. I was afraid that you would stick me into a panel of people that were not thinking for themselves and that I thought there was some old man in the sky. And I didn't want to use that language because I didn't want you to judge me that way. And the problem was that I was actually judging myself. So all I could tell you is there's like, if I give you a blueprint for being, then you're going to try to do something to get there, which is not being there. So that doesn't work. What I can offer you is, if you were to meditate tonight, so whatever you got going on tomorrow, and you're going to be like, you're going to breathe all the anxiety of that out. So that's not in your space anymore, because chances are tomorrow you're running through your fucking to-do list in your mind, and it's creating anxiety in your body, which means that you can't vibrate at a different frequency when you're vibrating at anxiety, which is not a great place to vibrate at, because anxiety creates the future that you don't want. P.S. If you've ever been in a relationship and you're anxious about them leaving you, what ends up happening? They leave you. You created that through anxiety, through the vibrational frequency of anxiety. So if you're anxious or nervous or stressed out about that which is coming, you're going to create it. So you need to get yourself balanced into a space where there's actual space for something else to vibrate in there. And then call something in. And I mean both vocally and vibrationally in your body, which means you both verbalize it. I'm creating that tomorrow magic is going to happen. I'm going to get through the things that I need to get done, and they're going to seamlessly happen. The right people are going to enter my field. I'm going to have conversations. I'm going to be fully supported. And these things are going to happen effortlessly and without any stress. Okay, so now I'm using vibrational frequency of my voice to create that. In physical real-time space, that's how we create in third density. However, your body doesn't create in third density. It's connected up, fifth and sixth, what we call hyper-reality, where your oversoul is, where you are also. You're the puppet down here. Okay, so the puppet uses this. This that's connected up there uses vibrational frequency in body. It aligns chakras, it vibrates them. These chakras create alignment, and then it just starts attracting stuff to you like a magnet. So we want to get you to that place, which now means that you need to feel the outcome of the result that you are wanting before you have the result. If you had created that thing already, it was already physically manifested, there would be some kind of feeling and sensation associated in the body with that. Create that feeling within yourself. Then watch what happens. You will just attract that outcome. Most of you guys are waiting for the circumstance so that you feel the thing that you want to feel. You think there's a number that's supposed to be in your bank account before you could feel abundant. Doesn't have to be there. You could just feel abundant. You're trying to meet that perfect person or get rid of that perfect person so you can feel love again in your life. Don't have to wait. Love is self-generated. So you guys can start vibrating consciously, choosing your experience every single day. And that's what I'm saying. Run the experiment. Do that. And then let me know how your week goes. Right? And the more you do that, and the more this mechanism sees that showing up in real space-time, it's like, holy shit, look what's happening. And it starts believing more and more. And all these negative thoughts, negative patterns in your mind start going away because it starts seeing the beauty of manifestation. It starts giving you positive feedback. This manifestation has more belief in it. More belief, more things start happening. More things happening, it's more belief. Totally different cycle.
Brilliant. Brilliantly said.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, damn, I needed this. Tori, you're signed up for a year. You're getting a ton more of this, whether you want it or not.
Tori, we some of the guys who've been with us in this program for the last, I don't know, was it 3-4 months now? You should have been on the call. I mean, if you could be a fly on the wall during the calls and what's happening in these people's lives. So the goods are coming, my friend.
Yeah.
The goods are coming.
It's already come. All right. So real quick, and bro, we'll go through this one quick because there's two other really good questions. Not that this is not a good question, but I think you just share some insights on this. So Matt was asking, how and where can we find out more about aliens and super magical powers that Guy told us on Monday?
Ask. Real simple. You need to give permission for it, all of it. So none of that is going to enter your field. My inclination is if you want to interact with extraterrestrial forces, and guys, like, think beyond what you see in the movies when I'm talking about ETs. We're talking about energies that are available to you, supportive energies, benevolent energies, and also fucked up energies. Again, what happens above, such as below. I just had a call with this most amazing woman, by the way. I'll tell you later. Who is doing grid work, laying grid lines all over the planet, is literally, for her, fifth and sixth is more real than third density. She comes down here and she's confused. So like sleep states for her are more real than wake states. Did some healing work on me too, started doing some activation internally. This is all for me asking. Meditation, same time every single day. Use meditation in the morning for alignment. Use meditation in the evenings for activation. I strongly recommend meditating at 11 p.m., whatever your local time is. If you start meditating every day and calling it in, they're watching. And say, I'm open to receiving. It might feel weird. It might just start with like small sensations in your body that are unfamiliar to you. And that could be transmissions coming through. It might just be it's probably just your oversoul trying to come through. And again, what we call intuition, what we call empathy, what we call psychic abilities is really just your antenna getting cleaner so that you can pick up what your channel is supposed to pick up on. When we were so fucked up in our training of our emotional states because we've been punished for being emotional for so long, you've programmed into yourself that I am not worthy, unfortunately. And your conscious desires are in direct contrast with your subconscious belief patterns. So your brain goes here and your body goes here, and then God, source, whatever is looking at you goes, I don't fucking know what you want. You're not a clear channel, and it doesn't give. So all this work is to clear up your channel. Like when you're watching TV, not that this happens much anymore, but back in the day when TVs had antennas and you saw static, you could not see the channel clearly. You could not receive the message. That's how most of us are running around, where like the antennas are not in the right spot, they're static, and there's not a clear channel, so you're not receiving the message.
Matt, so I don't know if you like, are there places or sources or videos or things that they can go and listen to or watch or read?
I mean, look, if you wanna see the real, you guys can look up Amateo Ra, and Bashar is another one. Amateo is a good friend. He's actually my former's boyfriend, probably future husband. I've been in his presence while he does that. It's the most magical, amazing thing I've ever seen, or one of the most magical, amazing things I've ever seen. Bashar is another one. Watch it so you can see it. You know, there's something to be said about physically seeing something with your eyes to increase your belief. Once you see that and you understand what these people can do and what they're channeling, if you allow it for yourself, it starts creating an opening for that in your life as well.
Yeah. All right. Let me just switch to the view. I'm trying to go back and forth between these. Okay. Sarah de Burka is asking, I totally understand the idea of surrender, but do you have any suggestion of how is it possible when I have so many things that need to be done each day to build our business? I'd feel guilty if I wasn't putting in all my time into it.
Yeah. Well, so we kind of mentioned it before. I'll answer it super quick and then I'll let you take over. So here's what I'll tell you. Limit your time of doing per day. Limit it. Let's just be like, I do 2 hours a day. I do 4 hours a day, whatever it is for you. Limit it. Start limiting it. And I promise you, whatever you're doing in 8 hours or 10 hours, whatever you're allocating, have it. And then the rest of the time, spend that time in meditation and study and creating alignment and understanding vibrational frequency and create here not here. And then watch what happens in your business. And then you'll be able to let all the doing go, because that will provide more evidence for things occurring in your life than your mind ever did.
So I'll say something slightly different. I think you've just collapsed two things. You've collapsed surrender with not doing anything. Surrender doesn't mean not doing anything. Surrender doesn't mean that you just give up and I'm done, world, work on me. Bullshit. That's what The Secret fucked people over with. Right? People thought that they could just sit there and visualize their life and visualize their life and visualize their life and not do anything and stuff was going to happen. Bullshit. The law of Goya, get off your ass. What I surrender is forcing outcomes. Surrender is trusting in the river of life, the flow of life, trusting that you don't know better. That when you just let go of the steering wheel of the wheel, what happens is you're constantly getting messages. You think they're crazy voices in your head, so you disregard them. I had a conversation with someone today. I interviewed someone for our podcast, and I can tell you that I think Guy would agree with this. We're coming to a point where I believe that any human being is capable of anything. We have superpowers. Every single one of us has superpowers. The problem is that we've been ingrained with that shit isn't real. And because we've ingrained with the shit that's not real, we start believing it. And if you think about it, if you're trying to control masses, okay? I'm talking 7 billion, almost 8 billion people on the planet. And everyone's got a fucking superpower and they know that they got a superpower. What kind of level of control are you going to have, right? So wouldn't it make sense to get everyone to buy into the fact that you're incapable, not worthy, not loved, not good enough, all of these things, right? What we found is the more you believe that you have a superpower, even if at the beginning it sounds completely made up to you, but you just start believing I have this superpower. I'll give you a simple one. I have a superpower of creating parking spots, right? I go into New York City. I almost always get spots right in front of the restaurant. I just do. And I believe that to be a power of mine. What's been happening recently is, I've said this out loud, I believe that Guy and I have a superpower that people that come into our space have their dreams come true. And what I'm finding is the more I speak it and the more I believe it, the more that is representative in the world. Who the fuck's to say that I don't have that power other than me? If I believe that to be true, trust me, the world will manifest as such. So, Sarah, to answer your question about surrender, surrender doesn't mean I give up and I'm done. Surrender means that you don't need to figure out how. Surrender means that you can create what it is that you want, do the work that you know to be done, and just listen. Just listen. The universe will tell you, you know what, Sarah, today you need to go to this coffee shop. Or Sarah, you know what you need to do today? Today you need to sit here and meditate. Or Sarah, you'll get an email. You need to talk to this person or that person. And it'll be the most perfect, idyllic.
I think you just want to say the word dick.
Idyllic. I don't know if that's true, but
I think you just wanted to cuss on
that.
Here.
That's surrender. Surrender isn't I give up, world, just do what you will to me. It's you still have to take the actions. It's just listening to those actions from a completely different place. That's not this logic brain that tells you, okay, this is what you're capable of, this is what you do. That's all very linear thinking. All of you are capable of unfathomable magic, instant, insane, blow the lids off of what you believe possible magic. And the more you start believing that, the more your life will be as such. Surrender just means Let go of the fucking oars and let the river of life take you. And I say this one thing as a caveat. It doesn't mean that life is perfect all the time. Not at all. River gets bumpy. River throws you around. If you just have it that this too is perfect and is here to serve me and get me faster to that which I want, then you treat it as such. It's not like, oh my God, this is so bad. Why is this happening to me? It's like, oh my God, cool. An opportunity for me to learn and grow. Thank you, River of Life.
Yeah.
So
And
I
I think
it's say anything to that.
It's important, like Ian saying, it's bumpy and having no judgment about it.
Yeah.
There's just zero judgment about the way life chooses to present itself to you. The moment you judge it, you resist it, and what you resist persists. And you're keeping in place the very thing that you don't want. For every person that opposes a political movement, a war, famine, inequality, money, all they're doing is adding to the very thing that they don't want in this world. It's all context, right? It's all context. To Hitler, I imagine what we consider genocide, he considered transformation. And we can go back and forth and argue that all day long, but it's just perspectives. Whatever a human is doing on this planet, whatever you can imagine with your mind, some human is doing it. That's just a human performing their programming. That's it. Your judgment matters not. Your opinion matters not. Your judgments of yourself, they don't matter. Your opinions of yourself, they don't matter. The stream of life keeps fucking going. Can you get yourself to a place where you're so crystal clear that you can let go and be in a flow and then not have any judgment about it? Because even transformative work in the personal development space, when people transform and they go from here to here, what they usually end up doing, because I did this for a long time too, is they make their transformation right and they make who they were before wrong. And this becomes the new way that you judge people in the world. This is the new benchmark. And you start negatively judging who you were before. And that's not transformation, because transformation is surrender, accepting all of it, which means you would have accepted this, would have been just as much peace as who you are right now. Right? If you're not doing that, if you're now judging the world from a transformed state, it's not a transformation, it's convergence. You've just converted from one thing to the other. Imagine if the butterfly, after the caterpillar becomes a butterfly, the butterfly looks down the caterpillar, is like, you ass. Right? So there's a beautiful thing that happens when you live your life in pure surrender.
In 15 minutes.
And Michael Singer does a really great job of talking about it in his book, Surrender Experiment. That's a really great, deep dive thing to go into, to just create that hey, princess. Hi, beautiful girl. Happy birthday. Wow, that's the least I've ever heard you say. What do you want to say? Anything to people?
No.
What do
you got?
This Olivia got this for me.
Olivia got that for you?
What is it?
It's an Elsa dress.
Elsa dress.
Yeah.
You know what? I think you should take the coaching from the movie and just let it go.
That was the nail in the coffin. Yeah.
I want you to be done one more.
Yeah, I'll be upstairs in 15 minutes.
Oh, you come up when we eat.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why you're gonna come up.
Yeah, I'll come up when we eat. All
right, so let's do one more quick one. And
okay,
then,
cool. That was a great question, by the way, Sarah, and I hope that answered your question and gave you a different distinction of surrender and gave you some power in that. Let us know if that worked. So now Sarah Jane.
The Sarah Jane?
Say it again.
The Sarah Jane?
The Sarah Jane. Yep. That Sarah Jane asked, what was your biggest, deepest conscious moment? Your your wake up to that we are more than just humans with a soul, but rather that we are souls having a human experience. Sarah, I can tell that you're a Wayne Dyer fan. Honestly, that was the first time I remember hearing that sentence. Just to give you a little bit of background, Guy and I started our personal development journey by doing market education back in 2003. So we've been at this for like 14 years now. And I have to tell you that for the first, when did we do the wisdom course? It was like 2006, 7?
No, before that, I was 22. So yeah, I guess 2006.
2006, right? So we had done a ton of landmark work prior to, and never did it occur to us that what we were pursuing was spirituality. Never. It was just such a mind game, and we were getting better results, and life was just amazing and all this stuff. It never went from here to here. And then we did a course called the Wisdom Course. And honestly, that was the first time that it occurred to me that what we had been doing all this time was opening up our hearts to spirituality. Like, I was actually learning about God and godliness through the process. And then during that time, a buddy of mine, Ben, who Guy also mentioned before, got me into Wayne Dyer. And I remember hearing Wayne Dyer saying, we are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. And I remember sitting there and going, damn. And then that kind of led to listening and reading Eckhart Tolle and people like Esther Hicks and things like that. Osho, all of these guys. And that was the time that I remember, when Eastern philosophy started coming into the mix, was the first time that I realized that we are so much more than this earth puppet, that we are all these souls that are just here having a human experience to enhance our soul's learning and the higher consciousness learning of not just us, the entire planet. So I don't know that it was one precise moment. Obviously, when I did ayahuasca the first time, I remember even when I did mushrooms for the first time, and I sat looking out a window, literally talking to a tree. And I was like, what the fuck? Me and you, our community, it was just so wild. And all of these things led to the eventual knowledge and the ongoing inquiry of who the hell are we? And what are we? And what are we here to do? And now reading this book, The Gene Keys, it's just it's one thing builds on the next. I can't say there was one monumental pop where I was like, oh my God, we are these spiritual beings. It's just been a constant education in how limited our scope of understanding is on who we are and what we are capable of.
My answer is whatever's happening this week, because it's man. So February for me has been the most prolific month of my entire life. The things that I could share, most of which would seem supernatural, and I refuse to use terminology like that anymore because I just get that it's just natural. The people that I'm attracting, the information that I'm getting, the entities that are coming around me, both human and non, the opportunities that are easily and seamlessly entering my life, the way in which money is flowing into our lives right now. And it's not because it's money, it's because we're just vibrating to abundance. I remember when we started doing work and the development started escalating, and I was like, oh wow, I'm so different than I was a year ago. Where most people are kind of in their 20s and 30s start plateauing, and then they just kind of are the same way until they die mostly, and they don't really look at growth as an opportunity. I was like, oh my God, I'm so different than I was a year before. I don't know about you guys. This is a phenomenon for me. My face changes every 4 years. My face doesn't look the same. I don't look the same like I was a child. I don't look the same like when I got to California. My face is completely different than it was 4 years ago. and this is constantly happening. And I do believe that this is a manifestation of my belief systems changing and how my consciousness is holding energy together in my body. Because all consciousness does is just direct energy. And when you focus energy in a certain place, that creates matter. We know that from quantum physics. So it's like your consciousness, even your body construct, is just a whole series of belief systems holding together and concentrating energy in certain ways that manifest what we call a body. So you can literally request your body to start changing shape if you wanted to, including like being fit and healthy and stuff like that. I was just on the thing with Marcy and saying, you know, people who speak ill of their body are going to be ill. You're going to be sick. You're creating that. So I was looking over year over year. Then it became like month over month. Like last year, I was like, wow, I'm so different than I was a month ago. Now I barely recognize my thoughts from a week ago. I'm like, how the hell did I think that a week ago? Because the upgrades are happening so quickly. Like I've now lost grip a little bit on it, and it's okay. I think before I was cautious to not lose grip. Like somebody said, I'm going to lose my identity on the call with me and Marcy before, and I was like, great, lose your fucking identity. Yeah, lose it. What are you hanging on to? Like that identity is creating the results that you have right now. You want to fucking get a new life? Lose your identity. Let go of it. Get into the construct of like, holy shit, this is uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable, guys. It's uncomfortable to the brain. The brain wants certainty. It wants survival. But that's all you get is a life of survival where you're trying to survive everything. You're trying to survive people. You're trying to survive when you walk out the door. You're surviving when you're in your car. You're surviving around your business. You're surviving your relationships. You're surviving your health. I don't know about you guys. I am not committed to a life of survival, which means I'm not committed to a life of understanding through my mind. The body thrives. The soul thrives. So, again, my answer is every week. Because I got my foot firmly planted on the gas of like, all right, let's fucking grow, which means there's uncomfortability all the time. And I'm comfortable with the uncomfortable. And I'm no longer wanting to grow. Like if you're floating in a river and you really trust, and God is the riverbanks, and you start fighting, like you're trying to get a grip on something, like I need to find something to make myself feel comfortable again, slow down the velocity of the movement in the river, don't you? So the real question that you may want to ponder for yourself is, to what level am I willing to let go? You know, I'm not promoting plant medicine unless you're absolutely called to it. And then you can go and it'll find you because you want to find it. That's just how it works. What it does is it helps you with surrender experiences. I've died more times than I know to count in those experiences and come back and been reborn. And there's something to be said about the freedom that you can acquire when you're no longer afraid of your demise. Mm-hmm. Like knowing so deeply that your soul goes on and that however you die, it imprints like a scar on your soul, right? So if you think about all the events in your life, like if your soul is like a rock, and I have a little knife, and every time something happens, I kind of just like that rock. It's going to leave a mark, but like a little mark. When you die, if you're in some painful place in your life, it's like just cutting through that knife, like making a deep ass scar. Karma, right? That carries over into the next one. And then that next life you'll be dealing with. And a lot of stuff you guys have going on is just like past life shit. And you're trying to deal with it this life. Right? And you can't deal with that in the mind. Not possible. It's not even aware. So I know that's a little existential. I could tell you that like I don't fear my death. It's a really beautiful process. And I'm not calling it in. I'm very called to keep doing work on this planet. But should I die, like my soul is just going to come back in a new body and continue the work. Sometimes the soul is way smarter than you, right? It understands infinity. It doesn't live in the linear timelines. It's living in a quantum universe that's non-dualistic. So the best I can tell you, and you guys can get this or not, we're living in a universe, as far as I can tell, that's non-dualistic. It's acausal. It's quantum multiverse. Say that 3 times fast. Meaning there's no cause and effect. Time does not exist. All timelines exist at one time. You actually have to choose which one you want to be in. And when people talk about dimensions, it's actually not totally accurate. We're actually living in densities, and there's dimensions in infinity. in each one of those densities. And you're tapped into all that shit. You tell me how you are not magical.
Damn Skippy. I'll tell you that I think that what Guy was saying, like with souls coming back, I'm of the same exact vein. I think everything that we do, you know, Sarah Jane asked a great question about having these experiences. I personally believe that I am blessed to have found this work when I did 14 years ago. I almost feel like, and maybe you guys check in for yourself, that it's not that I'm learning new stuff. It's like I'm remembering what I'm supposed to know. I personally think the game is this. Remember that shit, because when you come back as a new soul, you don't come back with all of that information, right? It's uncovered to you over time. And I personally think, like, get that remembering done as quickly as humanly possible so that you can start building on that, right? Like, remember by the time you're 20 or 30 or 40 or whatever it is, so that you have the next 40, 50, 60 years of your life to build on top of what you already did. If you wake up and you wait and you wait and you wait, like we always tell people, when you start this work, the only regret you will ever have is that you wish you would have started 10 years ago. That's it. That's the only thing that will nag you. So now is the perfect time. Truly, like there is no, I was on a coaching call with somebody the other day and they're telling me about this job that they're miserable at and this and that. And this is my question. If you knew, not that you had 24 hours to live, but if you knew you had 2 or 4 weeks to live, let's say, would you be doing what you're doing right now? Be honest with yourself. And if the answer is no, then what the fuck are you doing? And I mean that in the best way possible. Like, what the fuck are you doing? This isn't your practice life. The circumstances aren't going to align one day. Money is not going to fall out of the sky and you get to do all the things you want to do. Now, that's it. Period. If you're in a job that you hate, do something about it. If you're in a relationship that sucks, do something about it. It is unimaginable to me that people spend 80% of their day doing something that makes them miserable. Guys, it's not always about the money or the success or how you look to the outside world. You want to manifest like a motherfucker, you have to feel good. So like being 80% in a place that you dislike or hate, thinking that you're going to manifest some magical life because you listen to Esther Hicks videos, delusional. Sorry to break it to you. Like seriously, delusional. You have this life and you have now. You can change everything in the next 2 weeks of your life. And that's a choice. You have moment by moment by moment by moment. That's what we're here to do. Give you that choice and give you the tools to create that choice. That's it. That's what we are.
Inspiration is like perspiration. It's about to evaporate.
I like that.
Yeah, it really is. Transmit that shit.
Writer downer. That's a good
downer.
one.
Yeah. That's a Guy Friedman original.
That's a good one.
Because it is, right?
I created like a thing for us on Google Drive. I don't know if I created it with you of just like quotes.
Yeah, drop it in there.
Yeah. So,
it just is, right? Like there's a world beyond. Inspiration is the opening. It's the pathway. Something has to come after that to create alignment for passion, where there's a deep knowing and caring and probably something about service of others.
Yeah.
I almost don't know anybody who's living in alignment that doesn't serve like crazy.
Yeah. It's not, I mean, according to Gene Keys and what I've been reading, it's just not possible.
And it kind of makes sense because if you think about godliness or God energy or Christ energy or Sophianic energy, it's an energy of giving, not of taking. constantly giving. And when we look at Luciferian energy, and I don't mean these things, by the way, in personified type of way. When we talk about Luciferian energy, it's a God that forgot its oneness. So it takes. And if you look at our society, we have a society mostly that forgot its one. So it takes. From Gaia, from people, from wealth, from abundance, and creates limited resources. If you believe in oneness and you're connected to oneness, don't fucking give. That's how it goes.
All right, guys. Love you. Remember, we are going to be off all of next week. Well,
technically we'll be on all
I was going to say,
but we'll be off of this next week.
I was like, we're going to be the most on we've ever been, but we will not be on Facebook Live while we're doing that.
If you want, we'll be vibrating at 36 hertz. Maybe you can.
But having said that, when we are back, that Monday,
don't miss it.
The 13th, we'll be back, and I'll fire one up for you guys. And until then, bro, they can still find out about the coaching at youwillhaveitall.com.
Yeah, I can drop that link in there right now.
Okay. So for any of you guys that have been on these and you want to continue the conversation on a more personal basis, like here we talk about questions and this and that, but in our academy, we get down to you. What's there for you right now? Like what's stopping you from having what you want right now? What are those stories? What are those limiting beliefs? What are those old programs? And we just demolish them. So if you want to have exceptionally good results, just go check it out. youwillhaveitall.com. You can find out more. If you guys have any questions for us about our coaching and what we offer, private message me. I've spoken to a few of you guys this week. And love you all. And we'll see you guys on the other side.
Love you guys. Blessings.
Broski, I'll see you in a few days.